Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time, reviewing on issue 26 of the Image Comics of Transformers. Now, we're pretty much on issue 26, and as you know, after issue 25, not only does Optimus Prime end up meeting Miles Mayhem, but we do have the return of Thundercracker after his visit with Cobra, and the cover mainly has Optimus Prime sucker punching Thundercracker. So let's get on with the story. It starts off with Thundercracker trying to blast Jazz and also Wheeljack and saying, "It corrupted Skyward's power, sent us to the darkest corners of the planet. You have no idea the horrors we've seen. Jazz, Thundercracker, how about a nice calming punch?" And we see how obviously Thundercracker's gone a bit nuts, but we see how obviously Jazz and Wheeljack do try to calm him down to little to no avail, and we do see how Thundercracker does try to get Skywarp off from the whole Teletran 1 thing, but we do see how Wheeljack tries to reason with him, but of course saying, "All about lies, you disgust me." No, I won't leave him with you. No, Manny, don't you get it? You'll kill him. But we even see how they do try to kind of restrain him, but of course Thundercracker is victorious after doing a sonic blast. And we even do see how obviously Ultramanus has to kind of sort the matter out himself, takes apart his sort of blasters and saying, "Well, Thundercracker, have you had a fill of your war?" And we do see how he basically headbutts him, but we even see how obviously Wheeljack has to remind Thundercracker that obviously they weren't the ones who did this. It was basically Starscream, and had to remind him that, yeah, we hadn't had the resources to undo it, and if they had, they would have fixed the whole thing. But we see how Optimus says, "He speaks the truth," and even tries to get Thundercracker to see reason that he doesn't want to do any more bloodshed, and that he does want to help Thundercracker the best he can, and even wants to help repair him, and saying, "Impossible, you never would have. We are warriors on opposing sides, but we are all Cybertronian. Look into my optics and hear my word." And we even see him obviously making it clear that he knows what the other Decepticons are capable of, but he knows he isn't like them, but even offers him friendship. And even saying, "Can you restore him? I swear it." And we even see how even Ultramanus has his sort of doubts, but Optimus reassures him he knows what to do, and even says, "Forgive me, friend. I find that I cannot form an end of this conflict that would feel like a win. I'll hold you on to these just in case." And we see how General Flag shows up to give them Energon resources and so forth, and even having the bodies of Mirage and Bulkhead, and even General Flag amazing Wheeljack, and offering them whatever they need to, and even Wheeljack hoping to restore Chicago. But we even see how Optimus is spoken quietly by Ultramanus about him walking freely, but he knows that they need to be friends and allies, knowing that if they help him, this could easily show that they want to help. But we see how they are desperate to try and fix Skywarp, and even showing how they can kind of use the sort of technology now to help kind of separate Skywarp from Teletran 1. And of course, even making sure Thundercracker doesn't get any ideas, Ultraman is saying, "You heard him, move along." And we even see how Optimus offers Soundwave some Energon to show that he is trying to be a friend and an ally, but it becomes clear that Soundwave is just too far gone to heed Optimus's words about him being abandoned and so forth. We see how back in Chicago, the other Autobots to help trying to find any survivors. And of course, just as Beachcomber is about to kind of can't hold on, is saved by Shredhead. And we even see how after everything that's happened, we do see some effects of Ultramanus leaking into Spike, speaking words of wisdom. And obviously Shredhead is welcomed by the team with open arms. We see how at Shadow Watch, Miles Mayhem is fascinated by the whole Optimus Prime sketches, hinting something more sinister to come, and saying, "Does General Flag know about this scan? It's calculated in the databank, but I haven't transferred the report yet, Director Mayhem. So generally, no. Why would you? The fewer people aware of this, the better," and shoots down the scientist. And we see how back on Cybertron, we see how Cliff Chomper gets berated by Elita 1 for basically losing Shredhead and allowing this to all happen, and calls him out for his betrayal. And they even make it clear that Cliff Chomper's only going to be helping Elita 1 to sort of go back to Earth and hope Optimus talks some sense to her. And we see Elita 1 saying, "Let me remind you how desperate we are. Does this make sense?" And we see how other Autobots, like Huffer, Cosmos, and even Perceptor and all that, are in critical condition. And even Cup has basically revealed to be alive. And this is where both Elita 1 and Cliff Chomper have different looks. Elita 1 saying, "Do you see my point?" And this is Cliff Chomper now afraid that Elita 1 has lost all sense of reason. And we see how back at the Ark, Thundercracker is joyed that Skywarp is alive. And we do kind of see how Optimus hopes that maybe they can reason with Skywarp like they did Thundercracker. But it becomes clear that Skywarp is just too far gone, like Soundwave, to be actually helped. And he starts blasting all over the place. But of course, Skywarp tries to make a break for it, and even ends up meeting up with Soundwave, who tells him to leave. And they even make it clear, despite what obviously Starscream and Soundwave did to him, he still follows Megatron and the Decepticons, despite seeing the hints firsthand of their obviously barbaric nature, and Thundercracker trying to reason with him. But of course, saying, "No! You are always weak. The Decepticons don't need you. You will not be missed." And obviously, after everything that's happened, we see how Ultraman asks, "What about him?" But Thundercracker making it clear that he's chosen his side and knows where he truly belongs, showing that he's on the path of the right redemption, not enforced, but now seeing the true nature of the path that he was given. And we do see how back at the Nemesis, Megatron is not only furious with what Energon there was that was harvested by Shockwave, but barely any enough to repair not only him, but any of the Constructicons and some of the Decepticons. But we see how after something that happens, Megatron's mind ends up getting hijacked, hinting something more sinister is to come. So this is the story. So I feel issue 26 is okay, but it's one of those stories that's going to set up to other events, just being more slowly paced, showing where Thundercracker is going to realise his mistakes and be on the path of redemption, Megatron back in full command, and Miles Mayhem obviously setting up Nemesis Prime, or some sort of mask program based on his 80s counterpart show. Not the best, not the greatest story, but it still deserves a thumbs in the middle. It's alright, not good, but an average issue more the best. So, Comic Book Viewer here, signing out.